Connecting. Connecting. I'm back with the passing show. Just look at that color. It's crepe myrtles. Beautiful tree. Yeah, I was just watching a little documentary, a little sort of review, if you will, of Wings of Desire by Wim Wenders, which was a film made back in, oh gosh, what has it been? 1987. 1987, The World in 87. Where was I in 87? Working in the foundry. Colonial Williamsburg and Palace Green, and that film came out. He had been shooting it, I guess, quite a while. I don't know exactly the production history, but he just wrote down this thing about two angels in disguise over Berlin, and then put it in front of Otto Sanders and Bruno Ganz and his cast, I guess, and said, "Let's find out. Let's find this film. Let's find this story." And as we go, and they did a lot of experimentation, but the bottom line is, the angels are observers, flaneurs, volontaires. You're walking and you can listen to the thoughts of others, as you can listen to my thoughts as I'm recording them while shooting this corner at Florida Avenue and Connecticut Avenue, northbound. I think of it in terms of a cinema verite. I hadn't thought of that until just now, but that's what it is. And I'm thinking a lot about, smoke, where Augie goes out and takes a photograph outside of his tobacco shop every day. Same angles, same everything. There's a story behind how he got the camera in an act of compassion for a woman who thought he was her son that never visited her. I'm a son. I visit my mother monthly now. Take her out to lunch, get her peanuts, things that make her happy ish, and that she appreciates. She says that a space of gratitude the last visit. No complaints, no references to anyone else and what they do or don't do. Kind of a good space to be in, I guess. Wisdom is settled in out of the cognitive decline of being here now, of being present in right where my feet are, right where her feet are. And my gosh, it's all just too much sometimes to be able to observe our lives together. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm doing, but I think I'm going to be talking and walking and maybe commenting on some of the interviews I've had lately. I started out with Sonny Triple, my vocal coach, who I'll be meeting again with on Tuesday, and we might actually go live. So if we do, God, I can schedule that. That's a good idea. I've got another one scheduled at 10 a.m. tomorrow. So Sonny at noon, but 10 a.m. with somebody I haven't met yet. Somebody who's taking the chance of being my guest on Hair Wings Live, so to speak, the Hair Wings podcast. And we can do this on Substack so easily. That's one of the things I really love about it. So watching the traffic on Florida Avenue, streaming back and forth, joggers, District to Columbia, short bus. I don't know, man. I just know how things seem to me, and I'm thinking about these things. I'm mulling them over, considering being here now. The way in which we maneuver our bicycles, our putting our feet left foot in front of right foot, the health and prosperity of many. And most of the people who live around here are pretty prosperous, right? But there's also great poverty. There's people in anxiety, the anxiety of living. And maybe this is kind of like a little tribute to Wings of Desire and Far Away So Close, the two angel movies of Wim Wenders. Made a lot of other films. And yeah, it's just a rich tapestry of life. The opening scenes of Far Away So Close, the sequel to Wings of Desire, has Mikhail Gorbachev penning in Berlin a commitment to allow Berlin to reunite with the rest of Germany and East Germany reuniting with West and being one Germany. I went there in 1994, just after that had happened, and was in the eastern section of Berlin, Friedrichsgracht, right on the Spree Canal, and tagging up with a friend from Croatia, newly independent nation, who was studying to be a diplomat. Last I heard, he was in Ottawa, and the Canadian Croatian embassy to Canada. Should look him up again, find out where he's gone to. Because it's been years. What was it? 1994, I said, right? On the Trinam Kiemse Goethe Institute, no longer operational, so far as I know. Stayed in Bahnmeisterei, which I think is a private residence now. The station master's house, which at the time Goethe Institute used as one of its dormitories, basically. I had the room off the kitchen. We'd have these parties that went on for absurd lengths. And yeah, alcohol fueled our experience. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was an interesting time in my life. So I walk and talk and stand and talk to all of you who might be in earshot. Got 10 of us gathered together. Enjoy that. Just a little cinema verite, life as it happens. You know, watch this beautiful Porsche roll by, convertible. How is it that someone has the kind of income to drive such a thing? These luxury goods. The choices we make to entertain ourselves, to try to have some sort of status. We ought to really reconsider that. But, I have reconsidered it. I do not own a Porsche. I drive a Toyota 2005 Camry that my wife bought herself. First new car she ever bought herself, probably the last one, because she can't drive now. She had a stroke at the age of 42 that paralyzed her on the left side of her body. And took her to work this morning. She's the HR director at Theodore Roosevelt Conservation Partnership. Been holding down that gig for quite some time. We're working on our estate planning now. Going to give everything to the Mr. Rogers Institute, Fred Rogers Institute. We don't have children of our own. We wanted to, but the stroke before that, autoimmune hepatitis coming along and happening to her. Happening for her? I don't know. I don't know if she'd see it that way. I'm trying to look at my life as though everything that has happened for me and not to me. And I'm trying to think too of, how I help others with this one life that I have. I don't know, man. I do transmit a lot. I am an amplifier, a node on a non-hierarchical network, I like to say, picking up signals, transmitting them, witnessing, witnessing the passing show. Say what you want, but we're all in this together. We're all weaving a tapestry of life, three-dimensional sculpture, really, of life, four-dimensional, five-dimensional, whatever. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where it's all heading. I don't know anything but what appears to me and what my imagination can conceive with the help of others. They've been talking a lot about qualia, the experience, the subjective experience of existence. And when I did an interview on 10 o'clock, 10? 11, 11 my time, 8 o'clock her time, with Jay Venner. And it was a lot of fun. We have a good time. I felt. She said she enjoyed it too. So we're going to do it again. We're going to talk more about maybe recursive thinking. She's got a master's in AI and robotics and a PhD in data science, those things. And she's a philosopher. And she had this great experience on Canary Islands. If you look it up, Harrowing's podcast Jay Venera, you'll find it and you can listen in. We spoke for about an hour. Change. So much fun. Look at that. The bus advertising Keeper Federal, defending our nation's digital borders against cyber attacks. So much money over the dam. And to what purpose? Why are we fighting each other all the time? Cyber attacks. There are people who are doing evil things, people who are doing good things. I've heard good, bad. There's no good or bad, but thinking makes it so, Shakespeare observed. Dunno. Just know how it seems to me, and I could be wrong. We together can really shape this world. We can be trim tabs. If you haven't done it yet, go out and look at Jeff Bridges' award acceptance speech when he got this Cecil B. DeMille Award from the Hollywood Foreign Press, I think. Once he gave that, watch these crows going over. Anyway, when Jeff Bridges gets the award, he starts to talk about the influence of Bucky Fuller and how he had the insight that the human being, the individual in society, is like a trim tab on a rudder of a big ocean going vessel. It took too much energy to turn the rudder. So you have these trim tabs, this little rudder on the big rudder that turns the rudder. So you don't need less energy. You can affect this ship where it goes. And the individual in society is like that. We can steer this ship the way we want to go, man, is the way he puts it, towards love and a healthy planet for everybody. 2019, 6 years ago now, 6 years ago. Keep that in mind. Somebody, I forget who, turned me on to it and knew that it would resonate with me. And I've been amplifying that signal for all I'm worth. And I'm sitting here turning my little trim tab, sweeping it over the streets. If you're injured, call now. Malloy. Malloy. I had a friend named Ed Malloy. He's dead now. But when I found out he was dead, I remember I was in some museum, I think probably the Freer Gallery of Art, and heard he was dead. Thought about it. Thought, wow, let's go back and see what we can do to preserve something of Ed. And he had put up a post of this woman playing guitar, playing Shake 'em on down on a little cigar box guitar. A Samantha Fish. I must have seen 20 plus Samantha Fish shows since then. And it's all because of Ed, who died of prostate cancer sequelae. And, you know, he gave something of himself. The Tipping Point by Gladwell is in the little free library here. There's also another book. Looks like it's in Cyrillic. And then finally, there's another. I'm going to add some more books to this that I want to get rid of. Tom Robbins, okay. Fierce Invalids Home from Hot Climates. Well, we're not invalids yet, but doing what we can. I'm trying to stay in the game. I'm probably going on a longer walk. I'm going to charge up the phone. Going to do a lot of filming the passing show because it's my job, right? It's what I do. Substack is where I do it. One of the things that keeps me afloat are my 11 subscribers. It's only $900 a year. Nobody can live on that these days, but it helps. And I've got, last I checked, 556 subscribers in total. Very happy for all the free subscribers as well. And hopefully I'm giving something of quality, an act of quality. Robert Fripp talks about that. I don't know. The production values are very low, but there's something to this. There's something I can't really even begin to describe about the subjective experience, the qualia of what it is to know I am, you are, that. That's a good place to end. So we end. Oh, wait, there's comments. I saw Bucky in Denver. I think it was 1972. A super afternoon with Mr. Fuller, Geraldine A.B. Hughes. Thank you, Geraldine. I was filming in Washington, D.C. Did somebody ask? New here, not from the U.S. Just curious, what city is this? This is Washington, D.C. And thank you for asking, Ben. And thank you for joining us, not from the US. I don't know where you are, but I'd love to know. I want to, invite all of you to be on Harrowing's podcast. Like Jay Venera was good enough to be the first, like, random person to step up. I know the other ones I've interviewed so far, I should go over that. Sonny Triple, as I mentioned, my vocal coach did the first one. Then I had Lisa Law on. Lisa and I go back a little bit into the pandemic, and we tell our story a bit there and her story, and she's amazing, and I love her, and you should know who she is. And if you're a documentary filmmaker, you should make a documentary about this woman's life. She is so worth knowing about. She has been an influence in history. She was the first on a major film, Otto Preminger's Skidoo, the first woman to be filmed breastfeeding a baby. And that was Groucho Marx's last film. He played a gangster named God. It was germophobic. Jackie Gleason was the main star. Harold Channing was in it. And, well, they got money, this commune that Lisa was involved in, the hog farm. And they were out in New Mexico, I think. New Mexico or Arizona, I forget. But somewhere out in the desert Southwest when a jet was flown in to fly them to New York City to go on to Woodstock and be the police force, the security for Woodstock. So the password to the police force at Woodstock was, I forgot. See Wavy Gravy movie, Saint Misbehaving by Michelle Ezrick. I helped fund Michelle's next film, Cracked Up, and she's got another one coming out on Terry Real. I don't know when, but Ripple Effects Films, Michelle's outfit. She is outstanding human being on the scene as well. I haven't had Michelle on the show. I probably can't get her. I don't know. I'll try, but she's pretty busy, and I don't know if we can actually connect. But she's so interesting to me, and I've done what I can to amplify her signal through the noise. The third Harrowing's podcast interview was with Scott Guberman, and we had a pretty good talk, but it got cut off. Something happened to the connection, and it just drops off at the end, and that's sad. But I put it out there anyway. I don't edit these at all. Fourth one was with Skip Healy, the world's greatest fifer, according to the Yankee magazine. And Skip and I talked for nearly 3 hours, 2 hours, 40 some minutes about everything. And Skip's got this great story about smoking a joint on Pier 39 in San Francisco about 1989 or 90. And guy comes up, says, that smells really good. And so Skip shares it with him. And as they're talking and smoking, getting high, the guy says, what's your name, man? He says, Skip. I think I know your name. It was freaking Jerry Garcia of the Grateful Dead. And Jerry and Skip talk banjo. And then Jerry turns to Skip and says, I don't think I've ever told anybody that. So Skip's the conveyor of that. Now I've picked up that signal, amplifying it through the noise of cyberspace. One little piece of rich history, right? So Skip was on at Jay Venera, as I mentioned, last Saturday. I'm hoping to have Mark Logston on, who's the leader of the First Michigan Fife and Drum Corps, and got his inspiration really from John C. Moon, who was the music master under whom I studied in Williamsburg, Virginia. And when John died, Mark managed to find a bear skin and, drums and maces for the setting next to John's coffin. And he got up there and did a rendition of Dan Fogelberg's, he didn't sing it, but the song Leader of the Band. And if you don't know it, Dan Fogelberg's song's really worth it. I think that way about my own foundation. I am the living legacy of the leader of the band. For me, it was my father, Harold B. Gill Jr. He was a historian and a detective of sorts. The historian is detective. Yes. We're going to put out a lot more on that as time goes on, but I've had to step back and really go deep inside myself and start processing out a lot about who I am, what I am, the foundations of my life, which have really profited from a 12-step program of recovery, the original one. We don't say it out loud. It's like a secret under the surface of society, but everybody knows about it. My anonymity is mine to break. And that's what I'm on about lately. My cohort seems to be very cool with breaking other people's anonymity. And it's just the practice of principles in all our affairs is hard to detect. So I'm stepping back from what I used to do, which was sit in meetings for a long time. And I'm being here now and living life, living as well as letting live. That's a very important part of my practice. First things first, easy does it. Well, I've never been really good at those two, but they're very important principles to live by. Now, I was about to wrap up, but I went on and on. I do have that tendency, and I need to get inside so I don't get eaten up by mosquitoes. But what else do I say? We will have more people on. I can't even remember everybody who signed up, but we are scheduling. And if you want to be on Harrowing's podcast with me, talk about what's on your mind. We like to focus on what it is, the existential dread of being here now, of being aware that this is a temp job and we are all in this together. So from the courtyard, by my rose bush, it throws out yellow roses. It had like, I don't know, 60 of them. It was amazing this year, much more roses than I'd had before. And then we have hydrangeas. My wife tends to these. A little bit of color in some of them, but that's the oldest one back there that blooms blue and pink. But this is pretty much over for this year. Oh, we had something there. It's gone. Lemon yellow thyme. Oh, what's coming back from the? It's just gone. Weird. Got some sage going. Got some rosemary. Got some lavender. Got some curry plant. Do I have the lavender still? I'll go back around here and look. Lemongrass, definitely. I think the lavender got overshadowed so much. It probably couldn't make it with the lemongrass. Oh my gosh. It's really going great guns down here. Getting a little bit of sunlight. But the hydrangea is really kind of shadowing all of those lovely other plants. I can see a little bit of rosemary peeking out. Sage. Melissa back there. That's lemon balm. My sister's name is Melissa. So it's a tribute to her. I don't think she cares, but it's nice. It's nice that I exist, I think. I'm not sure she agrees. Lemon thyme there. Lemon thyme there. It's for lemon thyme over here too. Oh, variegated. That was one that's died. Something came along and chewed up some other of my plants. I've also started a spaghetti squash. It seems to be surviving, but it's not getting a lot of light, so I don't expect much from it. And it is sprouted inside the spaghetti squash my wife and I had. I had some chocolate mint, something apparently thought that was delicious. That's no longer available. Mm, say mints take over, but I guess they don't. Whatever likes say. Chocolate mint doesn't like lemon balm. Lemon balm, it is going great guns down under the hydrangea. It's an interesting little garden, right? We must all tend our own garden, Candide said. So wrapping soon, hang on a second. I am a North African Arab living in Madagascar. Wonderful, Ben. Thank you for telling me. And I see some writing back and forth. Where are you based, Hal? This is 2103 and a half S Street, Northwest. That's it. That's the bunker. If you happen to come up here and use that door knocker, I probably will not answer unless you have pre-scheduled an appointment. But the bunker is a place where people can, drop by if they wish. Nobody wishes. It seems. I don't know. That's not entirely true. I was with Jack Brady not too long back, a retired architect, watching Becoming Led Zeppelin. And he was positioned in such a way that he got to meet Robert Plant and break bread with Robert, get his Laurel Pop Festival poster signed. Robert said, "But Jack, it's a fake. It's a damn fake," or something like that. And Jack was like, "Yeah, I know, Robert, but just sign it." Anyway, it's a bloody fake. That was it. Not a damn fake, a bloody fake. So, life goes on, right? Um, we're 2 degrees from each other if we haven't met yet, or 1 degree from each other. I was actually an early adopter of 6degrees.com. See if anybody else is saying anything. Have a super day. Thank you. Oh, Sir Hal, that's nice of you to notice. I am, the grandson of a Magna Carta Dame. I probably could be a Magna Carta Baron if I wished, but I don't care to do it. Because for one thing, when you get back there, you got 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, hopefully, and on back. And we're tighter related than that because, when it comes down to it, if you get back to like 1215 when the Magna Carta is signed in Runnymede, by King John after being forced to do so by the barons of England, you find that you are descended from more people than exist when you do the generations counting back. Oh, whatever. Uh, companion planning, okay, medicine herbs, yes, they are. We are a limited edition. George Syagos has asked where I am. Regards from down under Oz. Yes, thank you from Australia. Madagascar, yeah. And Bucky and new here, not from the US, of the film Wings of Desire. Did not know Far Away So Close. You must see it. It is not at all the same, but it is wonderful and it has a great soundtrack. And it is the first film in which Lou Reed acts. So there you go. He plays a tune that he wrote for it called Why Can't I Be Good? Why Can't I Act Like a Man? Why can't I be good and do what other men can? And then he finds the fallen angel Cassiel is a homeless guy out at the train station or bus stop and gives him some money and says, "Come on, man, you can do it." Cassiel recognizes him, says, "I know you. Why can't I be good?" He said, "If I knew, I would tell you." And I have another Lou Reed story. My first sponsor in the 12-step fellowship used to live in New York. He learned to play guitar in Washington Square. And there, at the Grand Central Station, he saw Lou Reed looking lost. And he went up to him and said, and then Lou sort of shied away, recognizing that he'd probably been recognized. And they said, "Can I help you?" He said, "Yeah, I'm looking for the shuttle, man. It's hard to find the shuttle in Grand Central, apparently." And Frank said, "Yeah, it's that way," and pointed him the way. And off he went. And then I think Frank wrote a song about that, saying, "All the times you've shown me the way, I was glad to return the favor." So there we go. That's my Lou Reed story. Such as it is, thanks to Frank Binkowski. Frank has a CD out some years ago now called Effin' Mess. Frank Binkowski and Effin' Mess. I enjoyed it. It's an acquired taste, but so many of us are. Okay, that's really it. The mosquitoes are here, so I'm going. Bye.